Hey there, YouTube Exiles, it's Brachiosaurus. Just wanted to talk about how my day one of Keeper's Path of Exile 3.27 is gone. Yeah, and what the plans are moving forward. So I started off playing an Elementalist with Wintertide Brand, the skill here. So Wintertide Brand is nice to level with and do the campaign in early maps because you can get it early on and at the end of Act 1 and just keep using it basically. It is a dot skill, so pretty easy to use, pretty easy to scale, and it also has this kind of like self-proliferate mechanism where it moves from pack to pack and clear... Well, not from pack to pack, but moves from monster to monster and clears packs out pretty well. You can stack 3 of them up onto an enemy too, so you can do kind of like triple damage. So yeah, it's pretty nice. Yeah, most of my gear is trash. I did manage to get a 5-link from the new League mechanic pretty early on. So this is like a level 54. This is the second or third 5-link that I got from them. So yeah, definitely recommend doing the League mechanic. You can get some good links, and I've seen other streamers printing out 6 links, and 5 links are kind of worthless, and 6 links are really, really cheap this league. So yeah. Try and think of something that uses a rare body armor, because it looks like those are going to be really easy to get 6-linked this league. Aside from that, I bought the Rhyme Gaze, which is a good helmet for Cold Dot, and I bought these gloves to fix my resistances with the triple res there, crafted some life on it, and everything else is just crap, just bad, has nothing. So my priority tomorrow is going to be to have a look at all my gear, see if I can get some upgrades off of the market and off of Faustus and the Async Trade. In case you're wondering, it's like the slash button or question mark to bring up this trade window, and then it works just like the trade on the website, except you now have instant buyout, which is going to hideouts and buying from their Faustus, or in-person trade, which is whispering them, or you can search for both. And then both those options are on the website too, so that should help you. I was lost for a little while looking for where my money was from Faustus. So you go, click on him, go to Manage Shop, and then you have to turn your Remove Only tabs on in settings to see this remove only tab, which is where your money from sales goes and where you can take it out. So that's in options under UI, under, oh man, it's late, where is it? Hide, always hide remove only tabs. So I had this clicked off from cleaning out tabs and like standard leagues from times before. If you click that on, then Faustus will not have the remove only tab anymore, so kind of breaks Faustus. So make sure that you are not hiding the remove only tabs. Okay, let's run this last map here. I'll show off the Wintertide Brand a little bit, and yeah, we'll call it a day there. I made it all the way through acts in... it was pretty slow. What are we up to? I'm up to just under 15 hours now, just under level 89, and I'm clearing white maps. So this is like a tier 2 that I'm working on. Skip that. You can see Wintertide Brand just goes from mob to mob. I can cast up to 5 of them. And it does a good job clearing the packs. How it works is it starts a dot every time the brand ticks, and then with the brand mastery, we'll just open that up and pause over here. You basically come out here, you can then get this damage, get some stats, some life, and some cold damage, and then you rush over here to get this wheel for brand damage and duration. And then you take the brand mastery where every time the brand activates, it moves to a new monster. Because the way Wintertide Brand works is every time it activates, it ticks up the stage of the damage over time effect that it does. And it also has a thing where it detaches, and like if it detaches, it leaves a dot on the ground around them, and then it can reattach and click up the dot on the next guy, and then detach and leave a bigger dot, ground effect, and then reattach and level up the dot. So it's just a chain of like powering up the dot every time it attaches and goes through the pack. So it'll start on one guy, it'll detach, it'll leave ground dots. It's a little tricky to explain, but you see that it clears things pretty decently. This is a low tier map, and you know, monsters are not super hard here, but it is what it is. It's pretty decent. It's a pretty chill play style where you get a lot of time to dodge and maneuver around. Let's run around with shield charge. Got a little piano going on where we've got a cold snap with hypothermia and bone chill to cause enemies to take more cold damage over time. We've got a frost bomb to give them exposure, and we've got the exposure powered up from elementalist, and then we've got our curse. So when we run into anything harder, we just kind of piano ERT to get all of those off. Eventually you want to switch to a weapon that has the socketed spells trigger when you cast a spell to automate them, and put your frost bomb and frostbite in there. So that's something that I'm going to be looking for tomorrow. Even just one of these is enough to do these packs. So this is the League mechanic. You go in, you get a little fire, purple breach fire burning around you that lets you knock down these walls. This is kind of like one of the iterations of the mechanic, at least, is this wall version. So you go in, there's a whole bunch of guys. Kill them all, put a portal down near the middle just in case. There are these, like, you can see on the mini-map up here, there's a bunch of dark purple dots. And when you go near them, they turn into these, oh, this guy's still on me. They turn into these, like, light pink dots. It's not super clear what those are doing. I'm going to try to level them up. I thought that they were portals that the mobs come out of, but it seems like there's mobs coming out of everywhere. They might be extra portals. It's not clear. Most of the difficulty seems to come just from like the level of the zone. So this is a pretty good spot for her because they're self-bottlenecked in, and they're only going to be able to come from like the top and the bottom, basically. So we can hold this pretty well. We just have to throw brands out on each side, which is all I'm doing. They're kind of all up in the top now. Throw a cold snap out here and there. Use a potion. Most of like the waves improve with zone level. I was getting some like 8 of 8 waves in tier 3, tier 4 maps, I think. This is only tier 2. And as I was going up through the campaign, it went from like 3 waves to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 towards the end. I missed how much juice I got there. We'll have to check the VOD, but it does pop up over your portrait there. So we'll just go to the end. We did get a wound graft too. So boss goes down pretty easy. 50 mobs left, don't really care. Anybody over here? No. So yeah, that's Wintertide Brand, that's the starter. Like I said, my plan moving forward is basically play Wintertide for about another day, so for day 2. Push through maps, try and get 3 watchstones, like the first 2, and maybe get to Maven if we can. And then swap out of it and get my Eviscerate build set up. So on the tree, like I said, I came over here, and then I went and I got some life there, and the aura effect, and then I came up here for life, more brand stuff, and all of this cold damage. And around that time, when I was getting this cold damage, was when I did my first lab, and I got the Golem Commander wheel. And then after that, I started filling in like notes for block there. Came down here, got a lot of this high value stuff, then swung down and got these block nodes for the shield. Came down here and started filling in, going out to Spiritual Aid to turn all of this minion damage into just generic damage to increase my damage. Just a really high value damage area because the minion damage nodes are bigger than anything else. I think it's 16% increased minion damage versus 16% increased cold damage, so the same, I guess. But good value nonetheless, pretty dense. And then coming down here, picking up more life as I was starting to feel kind of squishy, picking up the life here. And then I'm going to continue down and get Aggressive Bastion down here for more block and for Endurance Charge on kill. And then move one more down and get this As the Mountain block wheel. So that's going to help my block out a whole lot. My life is kind of low at 3k. My resists are good. I'm way overcapped on cold because I've got the mastery for more damage over time multiplier. So I'm cruising along with tons and tons of damage over time multiplier. Like over 25 from being over 100 overcapped there. And 50 from the helmet. And actually, I've got the golem, so that gives me a bit more. So probably around 100 dot multi, which is quite a lot for a dot build. So yeah, we'll continue down there, get some block nodes, and then we'll look at filling in some of this area up here, fixing the tree for the conversion over. I do need to come over here and get this wheel for spell block, and then see how my block is doing after picking up all of that. Still probably going to be a bit low on spell block, but the attack block should be looking pretty good. We can try and see if there's some jewels on the market that could help us out. I do have this one jewel with resists, and then I have another jewel that I bought that has a dot multi. Actually, I don't need the resists anymore, do I? That one I just found off the ground. So we'll switch that. Resists are still good. Yeah. Oh, I did do a whole lot of heist. So I was over leveled going through campaign, and around level 62 I decided, like, forget about finishing act 8 or whatever it was at that point, I'm just gonna go heist. So I did a lot of demolition contracts with Vinderi to get some chaos. You get the chests that have a question mark, and they typically spit out a whole lot of currency. And then one of them spit out 2 level 64 or 65 blueprints. So I ran those, I got a trinket, I got a couple stacks of chaos from the end of those, I got a nice 6-link that I'm trying to sell, with like triple res on it. So yeah, good money doing heist and the demolition contracts on day 1. I just did that until I was about level 71, 72, and they weren't giving me any more unlocks with the heist guy, the barber. And then I moved over to finishing the campaign and mapping. Ascendancy, I went number 1, Liege, number 2, Shaper Storms, to get the shocks. So whenever I hit something like with Cold Snap or Shield Charge, Wintertide Brand doesn't hit, but my other abilities do. It puts a 27% shock on them because I have a little more shock effect. And then for Merciless Lab, I got the Mastermind of Discord to make the exposures extra powerful with more resistance reduction. So lots of extra damage there, plus the golems. And then Uber, I don't know, I might pick up the Shaper Winter before I switch over to Shaper of Flames for Ignite. So yeah, that's it. I will be streaming on Twitch and probably YouTube too tomorrow, so pop by if you want to talk Eviscerate or Wintertide Brand or anything else. And hope your league start is going great. Talk to you later. Peace.